Well, that's a wrap. Ended up on the North Carolina Raleigh swing and 22nd in my group. Not where I wanted to be. You know, the second day just kind of bounced around and around that cut line. Just stressful all day. It's like you get a little bit ahead and you get beat back. One step ahead, two steps back. But anyway, it was definitely a learning experience. A lot of new water. I'd never been to these lakes before. My approach was to keep it pretty simple. I only took a few baits. Obviously, springtime, these fish are moving to the bank to spawn at some time in the next couple months. And it's a matter of figuring out that progression, what part of the lake you're on. If you're down the lower end or the upper end of a creek, these fish are all in different positions. So I kept it pretty simple with baits. One of the baits that I caught a lot of fish on were fish that were moving up to spawn around isolated stuff. A Z-Man Boar Hogz. I threw green pumpkin, Canada craw, a couple different colors, black and blue, depending on the water conditions. But that was a bait I pitched around more of that isolated stuff. And the fish are just starting to get up in those areas. They want to kill everything around that isolated stuff. So that's what I used to pitch around. The first day we started on Lake Jordan, and I did most of my damage. You're not going to believe it, but a Z-Man Jackhammer. It seems like it's been the bait. It's been the bait of the tour all year. We've seen a lot of fish get caught on it. I threw a 3/8 ounce Z-Man Razor Shad white on the back, Chartreuse white. Again, really basic color, but when we go to these lakes that are new like that, it's really hard to experiment. We want to use stuff that we know is going to work in a lot of places, and a lot of this stuff, you know, it's going to work in 90% of the lakes we go to. So kept it really basic, never really got on great fish, just kind of scrapped around a lot. A couple other baits I used on a Z-Man Zinkers, wacky rigged. G Loomis 852S JWR spinning rod, 10-pound Yozuri braid, 8-pound Yozuri fluorocarbon, top knot fluorocarbon, and just a straight shank hook through that Zinkers. Threw it up there in those areas, got really slick, and got kind of clear in the backs of the pockets where I thought there's fish spawning. Caught a few on that. Another thing, also caught some on a spinnerbait, the Z-Man Sling Blades, 1/2 ounce spot remover. You threw that in the same areas as the chatterbait, but there's places, again, it would clear up. I wanted something with less disturbance, kind of interchangeable. Both the chatterbait and the spinnerbait I threw on 16-pound Yozuri top knot fluorocarbon spinnerbait on a SBR 813 spinnerbait rod, G Loomis, Shimano Corrado K 6.2-1 on the spinnerbait. Really important to have a slow retrieve. It's easy to overwork a spinnerbait. So anyway, that was my spinnerbait setup. Back to the jackhammer, a 6.2-1 Corrado K, again 16-pound top knot fluorocarbon. Throwing it on an MBR 844C. I'd throw it on 844 and 843. 843 I'd throw around more cover. I can skip it a lot better with a more limber rod, but I threw the 844 a lot more in the open water. I want more backbone to load up on those fish. When I'm throwing a long ways, I need a little bit stiffer rod to actually hook those fish good, but I just can't cast quite as accurately with the 844, so I'd keep a couple of them rigged. Anyway, that was most of my recap. And most of my day, these two events here around Raleigh, the week actually, really some awesome lakes, some fun lakes to fish. It's fun to go to new places. It's a rare occasion anymore. Again, if I had to change anything, it'd probably be running back into the far end of stuff more. We've seen it all year with the last event, this event, Conroe and here, backs of these creeks. That's where the most accessible fish are. They may not be the most numbers of fish, but the most accessible, catchable fish all the way in the backs of this stuff, up rivers. And I've been resistant to go up there. In hindsight, that's something I definitely would have done different at this lake, is run back that muddier water all the way in the backs of the creeks, but stuck with the same baits. The jackhammer, spinnerbait, Boar Hogz, that's really springtime favorite tonight. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more fishing action.